So I want to talk with Steve Quayle today about some of the big issues he's breaking down. Civil war. I've been harping on that. The war on police so that they can then twist the police against the public for a war on the public. This is classic divide and conquer. Police versus the people. Cyber attacks on banking, Sino-Soviet axis, and more. Geopolitically, what's happening from all of Steve Quayle's very interesting and informative sources. He joins us. Steve Quayle, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you, Alex. This is a critical point in time. We're about 8 days away from the end of 2014, and I heard as you were reading some of the questions that we're going to be dealing with later on this show. I think the biggest issue right now is that the hardest thing for people to wrap their heads around is that we are under a full communist internal revolution. Now, I say that because, you've talked at length about Saul Alinsky, and you've talked at length about the whole plan to basically incorporate all of the heirs, William Ayers' teachings and his basically, let's just call it what it is, his rules for revolution. So now with the situation in New York, I think this is really an important event that's happening, because I think what we're going to see is you're going to see more of these events across the country, because you and I have talked, Alex, over the years at length about turning the police against the people against the police, and yet we have this lone, and he was a Muslim shooter who's tracking the cops, evidently knowing about the exercise going on concurrent with the day's events in New York, and executing these two police officers and then blowing his brains out. That sounds to me like the MK Ultra signature, but we won't go there. The bottom line is the agents provocateurs, whether they're Barack Hussein Obama, whether it's Al Sharpton, whether it's Jesse Jackson, whether it's all the different people that are basically vilifying the cops. Now, years ago when I went on talk radio and you started listening to me, 23 years ago, I said the formula I saw in play for the last days of the Republic would be IVND. Identify, vilify, nullify, destroy. So the idea is to basically turn all cops into federal agents. But prior to that time, in order to get massive civil unrest, there's no greater way than to have high visibility assassinations on both sides and stay in the dark background, if you will, orchestrating all the players. And that's why the globalists don't care in a war who wins, because they control both sides. So what we're seeing now, in my opinion, is the full takedown of the United States, both from within and without. Look at the military. This is critical to talk to. We, you, I, others have covered all of the firings of our military, our military leaders, Navy admirals, anybody with combat experience. And then the stories in the last week, Alex, there were stories coming out. Could our nuclear defense forces even retaliate? Well, my answer to that is probably not. And the reason I say this is before I started into talk radio, I spent most of my time in warning people about nuclear war. Well, obviously, Russia had its seeming defeat, and I said all along, the only thing that happened to that whole situation was the Berlin Wall came down, and all the spies that had to stay on both sides of the wall and sneak into each other's countries now had free access. So what are we seeing right now? We're seeing the total internal revolution, which is part, by the way, of the Marxist plan. We were warned about this by all the Russian defectors. You've had them on in the past. You've quoted from them. I've quoted from them. And now the scene is playing out just like they said it was. And I hear people that saying, well, if we just get enough people to learn, if we just give them enough information, then we can turn the country around. I want to make this clear. It's too late for that. Now, that's my opinion. But what you and I are doing is preparing the people that have ears to hear and eyes to see and really do understand, is we're trying to give them the best information so that they can make the pertinent decisions for their lives, their family lives, and their community lives.
Well, when you see the President of the United States and MSNBC and CNN openly trying to fan race war, openly trying to push, kill the cops, that's so transparent that they're trying to create a major crisis so the feds can then come in as the saviors, as a smokescreen while Obama opens the borders, signs us on to derivatives like Congress just did. I mean, signs us on to the Pacific Partnership, waiving our sovereignty. I mean, it's all happening. More is happening right now than happened the last 20 years, Steve, and I only see it accelerating towards a quickening.
Absolutely. Alex, it's no longer linear. There was a time when events, one would follow the other. Now it's like all of the rods going into a nuclear reactor, creating a chain reaction, and it doesn't matter if you're looking to the east, the west, the north, or the south. It's all happening at once. And here's what's going to happen just in the policing. I believe you're going to see selective areas of the country. The troublemakers, the provocateurs, agent provocateurs are going to ratchet up. And I think the thing that's going to happen is if you look at even Chile and some of the South American countries, Argentina and other, when policing breaks down and Marxists start to take the hold, what do you end up with? You end up with death squads. And the problem is the death squads have been mostly on the other side to date. We all saw, and I'll
That's
make
right.
it clear.
That's right. They'll use the destabilization exactly to set up the death squads, and then they'll be used against us. They'll flip them when the Marxists take full control of the government.
Absolutely. We saw the saddest day when Andrew Breitbart was murdered, followed by Tom Clancy was murdered, followed by Chris Kyle, followed by the Navy SEALs.
Well, I don't want to get into it. They sent somebody here, and he got stopped, and then he went back to California and killed a cop. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, they're really pulling the stops out right now. Sold out for weeks due to the difficult and extensive proprietary process behind its creation, the exclusive InfoWars Life Secret 12 formulation is now back in stock in the last limited shipment of 2014. The most bioactive form that has been created with our proprietary process. This ultra-clean vitamin B12 nutraceutical has been carefully crafted and developed over the last 2 years and is based on cellular science of how your body actively absorbs essential nutrients. Secret 12 is taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Vitamin B12 deficiency is linked to scores of serious problems. And Secret 12 is a fusion of 2 organic, proprietary forms of vitamin B12, bringing you a true nutraceutical quality vitamin B12. Secret 12. Secret 12 is an excellent Christmas gift and is tailor-made to boost your New Year's resolutions. Supplies of Secret 12 are very limited. Secure yours today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.